Well, we're back meeting again. I hope you're not getting tired of this, and I hope you're having a good time really reflecting and meditating on the things that we're talking about. We're on chapter 11, and the whole chapter is the church obsessed over the facilities. And of course, a bit different thought for us because we do have an older building, and it has been falling apart. And yeah, we're spending quite a bit of money to fix it up, but we need to. So this is a good chapter for us to talk about, especially as we look at things, we think about things, and what things are important and what things are not. And sometimes we have what I call house blindness. Everybody else sees it, but everybody else, but we don't see it. We don't see the scuff marks or the scratches or the dirt because we're so used to seeing it. We're so used to seeing I'm sitting in the sanctuary now, the altar and the pulpit, but if you went right up to that altar and you'd look at it closely, you'd see a lot of those little rocks are missing. And not only are they missing, but it's dirty. It just doesn't look, but I know it's always been here and it's always been a part of this sanctuary, so everybody kind of expects it. He talks about this Lydia room that this church had and how it became this bone of contention. It says the room would be the focus of the dissension. And then he says at the bottom of that page, he says, we were fighting over a stupid room while the church died. And sometimes we become so oblivious to everything that's going around because we're so focused on an item or a picture, a frame, a plaque of some kind. When really that shouldn't be even of a concern, but it is. There was the church that had this obsession reality. He says the old pulpit group took the pulpit and started a new church. The new pulpit group, they stayed behind. He says at the bottom of that page, the point is not the memorials themselves. The point is that memorials became an obsession at many of these churches. More and more emphasis was placed on the past, and the future was neglected. Some of you have heard me say, I hear over and over again things that happened in the past, but what I'd really like you to tell me is, where are we going in the future? Where do you want to go? What do you want this to look like? What should we be? Not what were we? He says before that next sentence, being a good steward of those material things that God has given our churches is good. Becoming obsessed with any one item to the neglect of his mission is idolatry. We're worshiping things. We can do that even with worship. We worship, or we worship a version of the Bible. You have to use the King James, or you have to use the New International Version. We worship a lot of things. We don't like categorizing that, but there's some truth to this. And before he closes out, he says, but if we focus on things, no matter how meaningful they are, so that we become distracted from the eternal, we have lost our focus. And a church that has lost her eternal focus is one step closer to dying and death. Would you spend a moment talking with each other of things that you expect to see, things that have great meaning for you, but they're things, and how we obsess over the building? Please talk with one another.